Welcome back, my environmental scientists. Please make sure you have your science notebooks and something to write with for today's science lesson. Let's continue observing the changes in our mealworms. In yesterday's lesson, we stopped our observations after our mealworm larva pupated. Do you remember what our vocabulary word pupate means? Pupate means to become a pupa. Remember, we started with our mealworm larva, and after we pupate, we have a pupa. Now, let's answer our questions from our science notebooks. Why do you think the mealworm turned white? Why do you think the mealworms shed their skin? Let's take a look at some responses from other fourth grade student scientists. Some students think that the mealworm turns white because of molting, shedding its outer layer or skin, and because it's not moving. Why do you think the mealworms shed their skin? To grow bigger, to pupate, or to change? Those are some great answers. Remember, in our observations, our mealworms preferred a room temperature environment of about 22 degrees Celsius. In our observations, it did not molt nor pupate at cold temperatures of 5 degrees Celsius. At room temperature and under normal conditions, it will take the mealworm larva 2 to 3 weeks to become a pupa or pupate. But in cold environments, that process can take up to 9 months. This stage in the life cycle of mealworms is called the pupa. What? Where are these Pokemon coming from? That's much better. So until this time, we have observed the mealworm larva, but now it is a pupa. When a mealworm larva becomes a pupa, we say that it has pupated. It is alive, but it does not eat or drink. Some insects, like mealworms, look very different at different times in their life cycle. However, they are still the same insect. Pupae. Again, this stage in the life cycle of mealworms is called the pupa stage. The mealworm is alive, but it does not eat or drink. Pupa, when we say pupa, we're referring to just one. Pupae means more than one. Where did all these pupae come from? You see how there's many pupa? We call this pupae. What is the next step in this insect's life cycle? Let's continue our observations and see if you selected the right answer choice in yesterday's Google form. Here is our former pupa, and this is what came out of it. Did you recognize this insect? It's an adult beetle. Are you surprised that our mealworms became beetles? Like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, our mealworm changes into an adult beetle. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the pupa to change into beetles. Adult beetles. The beetle is the adult stage of the mealworm. It is known as a darkling beetle. What changes do you think will happen to the beetle next? Let's observe. Did you notice how our darkling beetle changed colors? What else did you notice? I noticed that it moved much quicker than the beetle that recently emerged from the pupa. Kind of reminds me of when I'm first getting out of bed. Oh, I move so slow versus when after I'm awake and teaching or going to the gym. So notice the activity of our adult beetles. Beetle structures. What structures do adult beetles have? Real scientists draw in their science notebooks. If you have room on page 7, go ahead and label in your science notebooks Figure 1 beetle drawing. If you need to go to the next page, that's okay too. We have observed beetles now, so it's your turn to draw a beetle. All right, here's another picture of what one looks like. Pause the video and draw a darkling beetle in your science notebook. All right. After you've drawn your beetle, look closely at the size and shape of the antennae on the beetle's head. Here are the antennae right here. There's one, and whenever there's one antenna, and both of these antennae, just like our pupa and pupae, since we have more than one, we call them antennae. What do you think the antennae are used for? Do you think they're for taste, touch, or smell? We will see antennae on the next organism we investigate too, the isopod. All right, boys and girls, we're going to stop our beetle observations there. Yesterday, we read about setting up a terrarium. Remember that a terrarium is a container with plants growing inside. It can also be a habitat for small animals found in a garden. It is a small environment, one that we can keep in our homes or in the classroom. Use today to gather your materials for your terrarium. Tomorrow, we will build our terrariums and upload a photo of them. So here are the materials that we need. A clear plastic bottle, soil and seeds, or you can even have some small plants, something that's going to fit inside of your clear plastic bottle. We will need gravel or small pebbles, and we can even have small animals. So here are my insects. Here's a zoomed up picture of some of the insects I was able to find. We will need small piece of food like a carrot or an apple, any fruit or vegetable that you have. And we are also going to need scissors and your parents' help. So that way we can make sure to open up our terrarium and put all of our small environment inside of it. So again, today, I need you to gather your materials that you will use for your terrarium that we will build tomorrow. If you've built a terrarium before, you can go ahead and start today. Have an awesome day.